So, Wei and welcome back. I apologize for the very interrupted nature of the introduction to purpose clauses that I gave to you in class today, and would like to try to remedy the interruption by quickly restarting the presentation and then powering into the new information that I am expecting you to start gaining comfort with during our asynchronous time in the days ahead. Um, so, with that said, um, realize that if I am being too slow or repetitive, you can fast forward through the next four slides, but don't, because I really, really want to emphasize that purpose clauses are subordinate clauses. They are subordinate clauses. Um, as you can see in the English sample sentences, no matter the variety of translations, the various colored segments with that are expressing purpose, are not the main verb in the sentence. The main verb in the sentence um, in all of these is just simply an indicative mode verb. I travel, you practice, they exercise. But embedded after that main verb is a subordinate clause that again expresses a goal, purpose, or objective. The goal, purpose, or objective that is tied to the action in the main clause. In Latin, I'm going to emphasize again, and you'll see examples soon, that Latin purpose clauses are introduced by the magical conjunctions ut or ne plus a subjunctive Latin verb. All right, um, that was fast. Now we're on to the second slide, which is again aiming to take time to introduce you to the, oh my gosh, multitude of ways that we have in English for the expression of purpose. To the extent that it helps you to pause, please do, and realize that some of these may be outside of your comfort level in spoken or even written English. I just want to emphasize again that your current comfort level as a Devlin sophomore at the start of Latin 4 is not the comfort level you will end up with. And so, powering through the learning process and gaining comfort with especially the first and the fourth option that you see on the slide are going to dramatically increase the clarity with which you speak, the perceptions of those with whom you are communicating, whether in spoken or written form. Your choice to use a sophisticated way to speak and write is something that is honored in most professional settings in the world, um, and is also honored as you are eventually applying towards college, university, or career positions. And so, rather than having me explain each of these again, please, please, please consider using so that or in order that plus the modal auxiliary verb may. For now, may is your first best option. Or if it is what is called a negative purpose clause, an outcome that you want to avoid, that's a negative purpose clause, try using the magical negative conjunction lest plus a pure English subjunctive verb. Okay? So we wear seatbelts lest we be severely injured. Um, I'm going to convert this sentence about exercise to include a different negative purpose clause. They exercise lest they gain weight, or they exercise lest they become unhealthy. Using lest plus the pure subjunctive, it's a power move um, that in the power world you want to be able to use. Right, this last slide was very rushed, so I'm going to try to cover it quickly again. Purpose clauses can sort of answer the question why. So why do people exercise? Why do you practice? Okay? Why do I brush my teeth? If I look backwards behind me and I say, because it's the healthy thing to do, or because the dentist ordered me to, or because coach gets mad if I don't exercise, I am expressing a retrospective causal idea. But so much of what we do in life, and especially you beautiful young people, is looking forward to fulfilling a purpose, a goal, an ambition, a target that you set for yourself, whether it's in theater or music or school or work or family life or just fitness. So these are prospective, looking forward purpose clauses. And in Latin, it is worth noting that the Romans used the subjunctive for them because the Romans were aware that a purpose may go unfulfilled, a target may be missed, a goal may not be achieved. And it is not that the Romans were pessimistic about goals, purposes, objectives. It's just that they insisted on using the subjunctive because they were grounded in the fact that purpose is not the same as reality until purpose becomes reality, until your purpose is accomplished. So, to express an idea, I exercise so that I may stay fit. Um, it's leaving open the door that I may not stay fit. And at my age and at my body mass, um, all of that is a purpose that is still in the making. So I don't want to make it about me. I also don't want to make it about you. And I also don't want it to be pessimistic. But the subjunctive, it is the mood, the verb mood of aspiration, of goals, of possibilities, of potential. Um, and so, woohoo, let's learn to cope with the Latin subjunctive. Um, I just want to emphasize in this last bullet point, when we introduce the idea of can or could, we are stretching from discussing possibility and potential to discussing actual ability. Okay. And this is me being one of those really obnoxious teachers, and you know that I am such a teacher. If you remember in Latin 2, Latin 1, even Latin 3, when a person asks, can I go to the bathroom? My sarcastic but purposeful answer was, I have no means by which to judge your ability, and I don't want to call your ability into question, but you may go to the bathroom or you may not go to the bathroom. It's in those realms of not ability, but aspiration or goal or permission that the subjunctive lives. And so I'm going to ask you to avoid a common tendency in English, which is to translate purpose clauses with the English helping verb can or sometimes the helping verb could. Just put those out of your thoughts until we find out how to make the subjunctive of possum. As soon as we learn how to make the subjunctive of possum and we start seeing it in purpose clauses, that's the point at which you can pull out a can or could, but not now. All right, this is new, and hopefully you're with me at this point in your lovely, talented lives. Um, I would like to amplify something that the textbook presents, and then I did not get a chance to discuss with you in the class session. So I'm going to try to define positive purpose clauses in distinction to negative purpose clauses. A positive purpose is a desired goal. It may not be, something you're super happy about. It doesn't have to be, oh, I feel positive and sunshiny about this. No, it just has to be a desired goal. Okay? It's an outcome that the subject of the main verb is seeking. In English, these are really simple to express. An infinitive phrase or using the modal auxiliary may, as in our previous examples, they work really, really well to express positive purpose. In Latin, these are going to begin with the magical conjunction ut, and usually they will be concluded with, but not always concluded with, but they will include a subjunctive verb. Right? So I don't want to belabor you with written examples on this slide, but I can say that I exercise in order to stay fit, or I exercise to stay fit, or I exercise so that I may stay fit. Okay. All right, those are all positive purpose clauses expressed in their variety of ways. A negative purpose clause describes an outcome that is to be avoided, that it's an outcome that the subject of the main verb doesn't want to have happen. Okay. In English, we have a variety of ways of expressing these. We can use not plus an infinitive phrase. We can use the modal auxiliary may plus not. And I'm just going to quickly point out the word order is important. Where you put the not matters. Or you can choose to be elegant, using lest plus a pure subjunctive. Now here's the elegance of it. Lest already has the idea of not built into it. Lest already has the idea of not built into it. And so from the very get-go of your expression, your audience, your listener, your reader will know already, oh, that's an outcome that the speaker wishes to avoid. So, a couple of varieties of each. I exercise in order not to die sooner than I would otherwise. I exercise so as not to die sooner than I would otherwise. Now, these are getting very clunky. I exercise so that I may not die. Or, I exercise lest I die. I would like you guys to notice, and if you need to rewind and hear it again, I exercise lest I die. It's compressed, it's elegant, it has that negative idea, boom, right at the get-go, so that a sophisticated audience reading your sophisticated prose will understand from the very beginning. All right. In Latin, a negative purpose clause is introduced by ne, the negative conjunction ne, and it will include a subjunctive verb. Ne is very prominently negative. Sorry, I had to make the pun out loud as well as in writing. And having that negative conjunction placed out in front, similarly, elegantly lets a Roman know, oh, this is an outcome the speaker, the author, the subject of the main verb wishes to avoid. Okay, there's just one more slide. It's rather long. In the end, I'm going to be giving you 4 Latin sentences, which I'm going to ask you to translate. I'm going to ask you to employ a variety of styles of translation, infinitive phrase, modal may, as appropriate, lest plus the pure subjunctive. You'll see sample translations as well as we click through each sentence. So if I go too fast, feel free to pause the video and think. Feel free to pause the video and write out translations. And definitely feel free to pause the video and compare what you came up with what I came up with. All right, so here is a fairly straightforward Latin sentence. Main clause, laborem suscipimus. Purpose clause, positive purpose clause, ut pecuniam meriamus. Let me encourage you to try modal may and some version of an infinitive phrase to express this in English. If you are like me, that is to say, a brilliant Latin scholar, you probably got something like this. We undertake the work, that's the main clause, so that we may earn money. We undertake the work so that we may earn money. If you want to go for the most simple, straightforward infinitive phrase, we undertake the work to earn money. That expresses purpose. It's short and sweet. Now, don't let the tongue twister of this Latin sentence cause you to slip up. Cum cura cura ne cadas. Cum cura cura ne cadas. Take the time to look up any vocab word or forms that you need to. And let me just call out for you, note for you, a couple of things very, very quickly. Our main verb in this sentence is the imperative cura. Cura meaning run. So the speaker is telling somebody, run. But it's qualified with this ablative of manner, cum cura cura, run with care, run carefully. And then I'd like you guys to notice this is a negative purpose clause. The speaker wishes to avoid a certain outcome unfolding. Okay? So, multiple translation options available. But since this is a negative purpose clause, you might decide this is the time to deploy lest. Lest plus the pure subjunctive. Here are my suggested translation options, and yes, I put lest first. Run with care lest you fall. Run with care lest you fall. Run with care so that you may not fall. Run with care so that you may not fall. Or run with care in order not to fall. I want you guys to notice when I deployed may, it was immediately followed by not. When I deployed the infinitive phrase, I put not in front of the infinitive to fall. That is good and desired word order in English, which I can explain further to you when I am live and in person next week. But one more thing before we leave this sentence behind. Some of you are going to say, Mr. Habel, why isn't it run with care so that you do not fall? Run with care so that you do not fall. Here's my answer. I am aware of the magical powers that young people have that allow them to fall despite a teacher's best wishes. I realize that this negative outcome, this outcome that I want to avoid, may actually happen. Ugh, it may actually turn into reality. And as a speaker of English, I don't want to use the indicative, run so that you do not fall. I don't want to use the indicative to refer to that falling as a fact or the opposite of a fact. I know you guys think that these are subtle shades of meaning, that they are, excuse me, but that's what your business is as scholars in Latin 4. Subtle shades of meaning. And the subjunctive will be your friend if you allow it to. All right, last thing I'm going to say on this sentence. Please tell me, why is lest you fall the most elegant translation option? In addition to what we've already noticed, that it has the word not, the idea of not already built into it, I'd like you guys to notice the pure economy of this subjunctive form. Lest you fall, 3 words. So that you may not fall, 6 words. In order not to fall, 5 words. Now, I have joked in the past about working the word count on a term paper or an essay. That's not your goal in life as Latin 4 scholars. Your goal is to speak clearly, elegantly, succinctly, with as few words as possible. And when you use lest you fall, you are doing just that. Okay. All right. Next sample sentence. I don't want to point this out, but I'm going to. I'm varying the different subjects in the sentences from we to you, singular, to now a they. But pay attention to some of the other variations that are upcoming. So here's a sentence. Alii homines deos colunt ut bona accipiant. Aim to work out a good translation. It's a positive result clause, so you can use an infinitive phrase, or you can use modal may. And here you go. Some people worship the gods in order to receive good things. Or some people worship the gods so that they may receive good things. Questions? Right? All right. The last sentence. I'm going to put it in the spotlight, and I want you guys to notice there is something really rather starkly different between this sentence and the ones that went before. No, it's not negative nay. We had one of those previously. But I want you guys to notice, Ulysses is the subject of capit, but in the purpose clause, the verb is interficiantur. All of a sudden, the verb has become plural, and oh my goodness, it is also passive. So this is a sentence where the translation may take a little bit longer to puzzle out for you. We have the idiom Ulysses adopts a plan, or Ulysses forms a plan. So, gosh, I've translated Ulixes consilium capit, yea me, go Mr. Hable, but I'm not going to translate ne socii interficiantur. Pause the video and work out 2 or 3 good translations, especially ones that keep the voice of interficiantur passive and then make Soki-e the subject of it, right? Are you guys ready? Of course you are. All right. I came up with 3 good translations. I want to notice that these are all negative. So I've got lest, and then I've got not and not. But I want to notice again, the lest translation is the most elegant. Ulysses adopts a plan lest his allies be killed. Or Ulysses adopts a plan so that the allies may not be killed. Or, and this one is a little bit tricky, Ulysses adopts a plan in order for his allies not to be killed. Right? So I'm going to quickly call out lest plus the pure subjunctive, so that with modal may and not, so that may dot 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 not. And then in this last one, it's really hard. You really have to stretch to make the infinitive translation work in order for his allies not to be killed. Okay? I want you guys to notice there's not and there's to be killed, an infinitive. But we've had to mangle things to put the word for into our translation in order for his allies not to be killed. All right. I think that purpose clauses are grand and glorious. I also think they're really easy if we were to approach them from the Latin side of life. I think it's just English that makes them so complicated. And that's easy for me to say as the Latin teacher. But I hope this has been helpful to you. The last thing I want to do is I want to notice that I want to call out for your notice the idea that every single one of the Latin purpose clauses involve ut or ne plus a subjunctive verb. As you are working to translate the chapter 11 story, you're going to need to kind of train yourself to notice these things. But here I am calling them out for your notice. Ne plus subjunctive interficiantur, ut plus subjunctive accipiant, and so on. All right, you guys are awesome and brilliant. My purpose or objective has been fulfilled in this recording. I'm going to quit the recording and post this in Google Classroom for your reference. Thanks for being patient and listening.